Encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting
Hello guys, my name is K. Lyndon Toba. I'm your humble presenter of the program The Focal Point. As the demand for critical analysis and reliable information continue to be the appetite of the Liberian population, it is incumbent upon media practitioners to always be objective, independent, and fact-based in their reportorial duties. The clarion call for credible, reliable, and issue-based presentation must be considered at all times. In the wake of these functions and duty to service, it is only one show that stands tall among the rest. Focal Point, a program where we scrutinize, examine, and cross-examine by allowing the audience participate by posting and calling and commenting on the subject under discussion. We bring the guests in studio, we quiz them, and analyze the issue. Once again, this is your regular.
Hello dear, my name is K. Lyndon Toba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.
Hello, K. Lyndon Toba. My name is Greg Courage Pa. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo village community along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media at 10 a.m. with the headlines of top stories in our country and the world at large on Focal Online TV.
a moment of realization. Today is October 4th, 2023 edition of the program Inside the Print Media. And I am so much glad to be seated in the driving seat of the prime presenter on this program, Greg Financy-Pa, who normally is controlled every basic activities on this program. It's such an amazing opportunity to be back here after a night of realization. Let us stick and still with the informations that occurred in our countries, the emanating developments from all the political landscape from Liberia, across Liberia, and our global village. My name is Kay Lyndon Toba. It's such an honor to be seated again in the driving seat. So let's take a look at all of the newspaper we have with us in studio today. We have the Front Page Africa newspaper. We have the Hot Pepper newspaper. We have the Daily Observer newspaper. And we also have the New Dawn newspaper. We want to register our apology because we will not be bringing you the international news on this platform. Howbeit, Grafina is not here today because of some brief illness. She just told me that she will not be available, and she has asked me to sit in the driving seat of this program. So we will entertain a quick break. When we resume, then we will give you the headlines and subsequently the news in detail. So it is such a pleasure to be here. A pleasure to be here and always stick and stay with Focal Online TV. Encourage your friend, encourage your loved one, encourage your family members in the diaspora to always stick and stay with Focal Online TV because we bring you all of the major developments that have occurred or is occurring in Liberia. So let us entertain a short break. When we resume, we begin reading the newspapers.
Hello dear, my name is Kay Lyndon Toba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.
Hello, Kay Lyndon Toba. My name is Greg Financy-Pa. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo village community along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media at 10 a.m. with the headlines of top stories in our country and the world at large on Focal Online TV.
And we will rumble into the reading of our newspaper and the headline as well. My name is Kay Lyndon Toba. It is such a privilege and a honor to be seated in the driving seat
For those of you who are watching, we want to say good morning to you. For you, when you are watching from the diaspora, we want to say good morning or whatever the time may be as per your geographical locations. We want to say good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and sticking still with us as we bring you these informative news stories about Liberia and our global village. So let's look at the front page Africa newspaper. We have two headlines from the front page Africa newspaper. Liberia, major contenders stayed away from user sponsored presidential debate. Major contenders stayed away from user sponsored presidential debate. Liberians eager for a high-stakes showdown among prominent presidential contenders ahead of next week's crucial elections were left disappointed when three of the leading candidates, President George Manu Weah of the Coalitions for Democratic Change, CDC, former Vice President Joseph Yemen Boakai, Unity Party, and Alexander Cummings of the collaborating political parties opted out of the Tuesday presidential debate. The debate held at the Ellen Johnson Ministerial Complex in Congerton, Monrovia marked the first of two debates organized by a consortium of media and civil society with support from USAID through Internews Liberia. According to Internews, the primary objective of this debate is to facilitate and inform decision making among voters. They provide an opportunity for voters to gain insight into the candidates' positions in critical issues, their policy proposals, and their vision for the future, enabling them to make informed choices during the elections, Internews said. 10 presidential candidates were scheduled to participate, including the incumbent President George Manu Weah of the Coalitions of Democratic Change, CDC, former Vice President Joseph Yemen Boakai of the Opposition Unity Party, Alexander Cummings of the Collaborating Political Party, Simon Freeman of the Movement for Progressive Change, Alan Brown of the Liberia Restoration Party, Benu Aliman Roman, as an independent candidate, Lucini F. Kamara, senior of the All Liberian Coalition Party, Richard C. Mailer of Liberia for Prosperity Party, William Tia Tudor of the Democratic National Alliance, and Joshua Turner of the Liberia Party NPL. However, while some presidential candidates not originally scheduled to participate in Tuesday's debate did don't, most of the expected contenders did not. Why did they escape? Organizers of the debate do not officially disclose whether these candidates provided valid reasons for their absence. Nevertheless, President Weah and Ambassador Boakai were on campaign tours in southeastern and northern Liberia, respectively. Prior to the debate, foreign Eugene Nangwe, the campaign manager of the CDC, had announced that President Weah would not participate in any debate, but the CDC did not provide further explanation. When contacted, Amos Twe, Secretary General of the UP, referred to a letter addressed to Internews explaining Boakai's absence due to campaign commitments. Here is an excerpt. Vice President of Liberia and standard bearer of the Unity Party, His Excellencies have me convey to you that though he who have loved to attend the debate among the presidential candidates scheduled for October 3, 2023 at the Ellen Johnson Ministerial Complex, Congerton, Monrovia at 9:30 a.m. Unfortunately, due to his campaign tour of Lofad and the challenging road condition, he is unable to be at the debate. It is hopeful of His Excellency that former Vice President Joseph Yemen Boakai that the debate organized will meet its targeted goal. CPP did not respond to front page Africa inquiries. Debates stand as the cornerstone of thriving a democracy, enabling citizens to access the stances, policies, and leadership attributes of candidates. So when the standard bearer of the ruling CDC, CPP, and UP, the most likely to win presidential candidate, abstained from participating in debate, had earlier signed up for it from concern regarding their commitment to open dialogue and their ability to defend their ideas directly to the electors. This sentiment was shared with some voters following the conclusion of the first debate at the EJS ministerial complex. Timing of the debate is not good. They should have done this before the campaign started. Also, the fact of the incumbent doesn't participate takes away the flavor it should have, wrote Joel Bimbad, a follower of Front Page Africa who watched the debate live. Tony Flex, another voter wrote, "We always lose the opportunity to leverage such an important activity to inform voters' decisions because this event is always held at the peak of the campaign. Organizers need to be more strategic in scheduling the event at the time all aspirants will be available to participate. If I would suggest it should be done around the period when NEC is still reviewing political parties' campaign schedule for approval." But Eden Dunn was more appreciative of the candidates that show up. Liberia vote on popularity. Thanks for coming up and explaining your plan, but keep coming and we will circle back next election. God bless you all. Highlights of the debate. Despite the absence of the leading candidates, the debate was not without its share of drama. Simon Freeman, a Liberian businessman and politician, pledged to repose the Ministry of Gender budget for programs benefiting women. Freeman say among doing business in Liberia is difficult and vowed to improve the business environment if elected. He urged Liberian voters to elect him and not to be frustrated with the current governments and workers as it could lead to a disaster. Benue Koroma, one of the female presidential candidates, called for the elections to another female leader, emphasizing like the history of electing only female candidates president who perform exceptionally. Sheikh Kouyaté of Liberia First Movement proposed creating Easter and end of Ramadan as national holidays for Christians and Muslims, respectively. Joshua Turner, a relatively lesser-known candidate, expressed his intentions to install video cameras in the office and vehicles of cabinet officials to combat corruption effectively. The debate covered a range of topics including education, agriculture, health, rule of law, infrastructure, foreign policies, economic, peace and reconciliation, youth empowerment, corruption, and gender inclusion. Meanwhile, the upcoming debate is scheduled for October 6th in Bangabong County. Organizers have announced that the candidates who were initially slated to take part in the first debate but did not attend are welcome to participate in the second and final debate if they choose to do so. This is how we move over to another headline. Central Bank of Liberia to end legal tender status of all bank notes as of March 31st, 2024. Central Bank of Liberia to end legal tender status of all bank notes as of March 31st, 2024. In a move aimed at modernizing the nation's currency systems and enhancing economic stability, the Central Bank of Liberia has officially announced the termination of the legal tender status of all Liberian banknotes printed before 2021. This decision is in accordance with Section 25 of the amended and restated Act of the CBL of 2020 is set to take effect on March 31st, 2024. The CBL decision means that following the March 31st deadline, all banknotes belonging to the Liberia Series 1 and Liberia Series 2 categories will no longer be accepted in economic and transactions. Banknote, which include determinations of 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, were printed before 2003 and 2009. On the other hand, two banknotes featuring denominations of 5, 10, 20, 50, and 500 with image of three men in traditional attire on the front were printed in 2016 and 2017. This initiative is part of its gradual transition to the newly family of Liberian dollars currency, authorized by the 54th National Legislature in its joint resolution on May 2021. The currency is totaling 48.734 billion is currently being introduced into the economy and will be the sole legal tendered after March 31st deadline. To facilitate a smooth transaction, the CBL has implemented a 12-month exchange period during which citizens are encouraged to exchange their old banknote for the new currency. Individuals still in possession of old banknotes after the deadline will be able to exchange them at the nearest central bank facilities, commercial bank offices, branches, agents, and rural communities finance institutions. To ensure availability of the new banknotes and coins across the country, the CBL will collaborate with commercial banks and maintain adequate supplies as its cash hubs nationwide. In addition, the central bank is actively engaging with the public through various communication channels, including public service announcements, jingles, radio shows, and in-person interactions. These efforts aim to enhance public understanding and awareness of the currency replacement exercise. For any inquiries or concern related to the exchange exercise, the public is encouraged to contact the CBL hotline at 54 54 55. We move over to the Hot Pepper newspaper. CDC documents violence against partisans to international community. Describe UP a violent institution. The Coalition for Democratic Change has disclosed that it has documented all violence allegedly perpetrated against its partisans by the Unity Party to be submitted to the international community. Addressing a major news conference Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023, CDC National Chairman Moba Molu said all recent brutal attacks, including the Foya-Lofa County electoral violence, leaving at least 2 citizens dead, have been systematically captured. He termed the opposition Unity Party as a violent institution, which he claimed is determined to end the country, as indicated by its standard-bearer Ambassador Joseph Walker. If the October polls were rigged, the party's chair alleged that members of the Unity Party, out of what he called hatred, did not kill sedition but only went against development by rooting out the solar light pole planted by Representative Thomas Fowler in Foya-Lofa County. This brutal act shows the kind of bad leadership Joseph Walker and his UP want to bring to the national government. And as such, AI justifies that the old man assertion that it will end of the country, Chairman Molu stated. Molu clearly shown that those perpetrators from the Unity Party were carrying firearms to tell how Walker wants to govern this country, and the Liberian people can never make such a big mistake to let it happen, he added. He emphasized that patriotic Liberia will not allow the former vice president and standard bearer of the UP to split the country through chaos due to hatred and desperation for power. Molu urged members of the ruling establishment to peacefully pay back to the Unity Party and its political leader, Ambassador Joseph Walker, during the October 10, 2023 presidential and legislative elections in the country. Let me be very emphatic here that Mr. Walker bears the greatest responsibility for killing of our partisans in Lofa. As such, he will be paid back by the Liberian people through defeat at the ballot box on October 10, he noted. At the same time, Molu called on all sedition to complete their mission of re-electing President Riaz and democratically prevent Ambassador Wakar from the Liberian presidency. Meanwhile, Boba Mountain, all members of the CDC for demonstrating peacefulness amid electoral violence, specifically in Foya, Lofa County. He also asserted October 8th, the day of CDC is officially closing its national campaign activities, is now captioned CDC One Round Victory March. According to him, CDC is supposed to put over 1 million citizens to win the October 10th elections in the country. This is how we move over to another headlines on the Hot Pepper newspaper. Called upon not unleash, Justice Minister sets record strict on AFL deployment. Called upon not unleash, Justice Minister set record strict on AFL deployment. The Minister of Justice, Attorney General of the Republic of Liberia, Councillor Frank Musa Dean, has emphasized that in the event that the Liberian National Police and other law enforcement officers are overwhelmed during the electionary period, the armed forces of Liberia will be called to square any situation of unrest. Minister Dean made the emphasis on Tuesday, October 3, 2023, barely a day after the Dawn Security press statement, which was misinterpreted by some media outlets, that the military will be unleashed in the case of other enforcement officers are overwhelmed. The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines unleash as setting emotion forcefully as opposed to called upon, which means to command or request to be present. Apparently, Minister Dean's swift explanation may have been prompted by the huge difference in the denotations of the two words, as the term unleash may have suggested an unruly position of the army when notified, according to the Joint Security Press release issue on Monday, October 2, 2023, and read by Justice Minister Frank Musa Dean. Law enforcement officer is prepared and willing to work with members of the public in preserving the peace. The men and women in uniform are your friends. They are trained to respect and protect you. He asked that you also respect them as they represent the rule of law. Enforcement and the public must work together collaboratively and supportively. Notwithstanding, law enforcement's unwillingness to work with the public in preserving the peace, no one has right to disrupt the peace. Anyone of group thinking otherwise must consider we members of the public not to test the resolve of the Joint Security. Any attempt by anyone to disrupt the peace will be met with the full force of the law. The Joint Security shall be robust and prepared to do anything and willing to legally permissible to protect the peace. Reasonable proportions should be used where required. Those who elect to test the resolve of the Joint Security will be doing so at their own period. The release said the Liberia Immigration Service during the period of these elections has been ordered to heighten security to ensure that our territorial borders and boundaries remain safe and secured. Of course, the armed forces of Liberia, as part of its Joint Security, remains available in the ongoing effort to guarantee peaceful elections in the event the police and the other law enforcement officers are overwhelmed. The military will be called to square any situation of unrest. With this being said, we will entertain a quick break. When we come back, we bring you the two newspapers, which is the Daily Observer newspaper and that of the New Dawn newspaper. Then we will comment on few of the trending situations in Liberia. Then we will call it a day. Until then, let us entertain a short break. And as we return, we will bring you the full details of the trending developments in Liberia.
Hello there, my name is K. Lyndon Togba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.
Hello, K. Lyndon Togba. My name is Greg Finan Korishpa. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo Village community along the Japanese Highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I really get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
Wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media at 10 a.m. with the headlines of top stories in our country and the world at large on Focal Online TV.
About the situations of your country, Mama Liberia, as we move towards this crucial electionary period. A lot of Liberians in Liberia and that of the diaspora are pretty much concerned about the state of our nation's democracies amid the proliferations of threats emanating from prominent opposition leaders and that of the ruling establishment people. So all we can say on this platform here is to amplify the call for peaceful and credible and transparent election as we move towards this great process. So let's begin reading of the Daily Observer newspaper. Liberia, elections material deployed to 11 counties. Elections material deployed to 11 counties. Next says. So this is from the Daily Observer newspaper, one of the oldest newspaper in Liberia. This newspaper is owned by Kenneth Best, one of the Liberian prominent journalists, Kenneth Best. So let's begin reading. The National Elections Commission has declared that it is firmly on track with the deployment of electoral materials in preparation for the October 10th elections. As of October 2, the electoral body has claimed to have dispatched electoral materials to 11 out of the 15 counties, with materials for the remaining 4 counties being packaged. According to David Etta Brown Lassanan, the chairperson of NEC, elections material have been successfully deployed to Sinop, Maryland, River G, Grand Crew counties. Others are River Cess, Grand Gidet, Lofa County, Niba County, Buffalo, Grand Cape Mount, and Bone County, while material from Montserrat bombing, Grand Bassos, and Magibi are currently being packaged and will be dispatched soon. Training for the temporary start for the October 10th pool is proceeding as planned, Lassanan said. The following categories and members of the staff have completed their training across the country. 79 electoral district coordinator, 382 electoral supervisor, 5,890 presiding officers, and 5,890 voter identification officers. Training for the remaining temporary staff will commence soon. The accreditation for agents of a political parties and independent candidate is currently in progress. She added, the commission urges political parties and independent candidates to visit the NEC Political Affairs Office to complete accreditation process for their agents. Meanwhile, Lasana has disclosed that the electoral body has ordered a reprint of the ballot papers for Magibi Electoral District 1. The decision, she noted, was prompted by the discovery of an error where a political party initial was mistakenly placed under the logo of an independent candidate. She also clarified that the numbers of the registrants on the final registration roll remain unchanged at 2,471,617 eligible voters. Lasana underscored that the preliminary figure released during the data process phase were subject to the duplications and adjudication leading to the final tally. The commission announced that the preliminary outcomes of the number of registrants at the time of processing the data from the first and second phases of the collations of the numbers. Lasana said at the time the figure announced were at work and in progress, that after duplications and adjudication, the commission announced the final registration rule of 2,471,617 eligible voters for the 10th of October 2023 elections. Let me use this medium to thank the Ministry of Justice and the security apparatus for providing security to the commission since the beginning of the electoral process, she noted. This is how we move over to another headline. President Weah's media confidant warns of chaos. President Weah's media confidant warns of chaos. You do not have to be a rocket scientist to see the confusion that is coming, Philibert Brown says. Philibert Brown, a newspaper publisher and confidant of President George Weah, has warned of a chaotic outcome of Liberia October 10 coup. Brown, whose warning of a potential bloodbath attracted huge criticisms on Facebook, has told the Daily Observer that his predictions were based on their belief that neither Weah nor the primary rival Joseph Boakai could accept defeat in the upcoming presidential elections. Even though Brown did not back up his claims with evidence, he firmly believed that there could be blood on the street of Monrovios and called on Liberians to prepare for any eventuality. If NEC, the electoral rules in CDC favor, do you think the Unity Party will accept the result? If NEC rules the Unity Party favor, do you think the CDC will accept the result? Everything I have said from day one, if you look on my Facebook page, since the 2 years ago, I have been talking about the election, that it will be chaotic and blood will be on the street and people should be ready for it by saving and buying dry goods. As simple as that, Brown told the Daily Observer in a telephone interview. The Daily Observer had called Brown to get clarity on the social media warning, which had received widespread condemnations. Many even construed his post as inciting violence and beating a war drum. However, a former deputy defense minister during ex-President Charles Taylor's administration, Brown believes his oversight of the threat of chaos during these elections is real and inevitable. There will be chaos, he said. No one will accept the election result, not CDC, not Unity Party. So no one is going to accept it. And what do you think is going to be? There's going to be protest after protest, protest after protest. And what do you think protest will lead to? Brown comments to the Daily Observer came after he had taken to Facebook yesterday to claim that the aftermath of the elections will result into a bloodbath, that people should take all necessary precautions and prepare measures to avoid being caught off guard. In a follow-up post, he noted to be forewarned and to be forearmed, and that some Liberians would not be able to come out of their home freely. The government has has not responded specifically to Brown's alarming post. Moses Carter, spokesman of the Liberian National Police, told the Daily Observer that the Minister of Justice statement to the press on October 2 was very clear. We don't want to limit our response to just one because if we do so, it might seem like those other people who made those threats are people who are immune to being invited by the police, Carter explained. Because if Philibert Brown is saying this, he should be invited by the police. The police are using what we call constructive means of dealing with issues as a way of protecting the peace of the state. As such utterances do not culminate in undermining the peace and security of the state. Once it does, certainly we will take appropriate action, as the minister said. The minister was very clear. Liberians have the right to assemble and go about their normal business, wear the partisans regalia, but whatever you say or do will lead up to the undermining of peace and stability and security of the state. Automatically, the joint security will take appropriate action. However, ordinary Liberians, especially Liberians of the political opposition, have taken Brown tax to his post and accused him of beating the war drum. Some commenters even warned that this experiment could be the first of it if a grim prediction of this come to pass. Brown insists that his aim is not to incite violence or war, but to urge people to face the reality. I mean, let us not play dumb, because what I see people trying to do, they play dumb, saying, "Oh, the man is inciting the people. The man wants to bring war." Nobody wants to bring war. This is the reality, and so we must understand it. Once you get to face the sense of the reality, the better prepared you are. He said, I am saying to people, why, when the Americans put the warnings out of their citizens, why don't Liberians say anything? Brian, being aware of his statement, runs a foul to the Farmington Peace Accord, which frown on language and promotes violence and undermines the credibility of the electoral process, insists that he speaks from an informed position. If other people are not in the position to do so, that I am in the position, and as such, I am ready to face the reality just as the prevailing situation is affording. In a position to know that there will be chaos. So after I vote, stay home, and while they announce the result, if there is second round, I will go and vote. I will come back and stay home. If I am going to be in the street, I must have food. I must have medication. I must have water in my house. Simple information I'm sharing with everybody. Last time, the house was the house where somebody was coming to shop. This time, nobody coming to my house for food or shopping. So we move over to the New Dawn newspaper, and right after we reach over to the New Dawn newspaper, we conclude reading the New Dawn newspaper. We will call it a day. So let's go over to the New Dawn newspaper here. Uphold the sanctity of Liberia's democracy. Economic freedom fighter urges the National Elections Commission. Exactly a week to the conduct of the October 10 presidential and legislative election, the opposition economic freedom fighter of Liberia is urging the Liberian National Commission to refrain from acts that will hinder peace and tranquility in Liberia. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, our country is at the crossroads. We want to urge the National Elections Commission to uphold the sanctity of Liberia by conducting free, fair, transparent, and credible elections, say EFFL Commander Emmanuel Gungwe. He said the institution responsible to conduct free, fair, and transparent election is next, so it must do it to uphold the sanctity of Liberian democracy. Gungwe underscored that NEC must prevent chaos in the country, noting that in every country, electoral disputes constitute over 90% of conflict globally. With this being said, this is how we would love to bring all of our local news. We are very sorry we cannot bring you the international news due to time, due to some great time factors. We will definitely bring it to you on tomorrow, at which time Greg Finan will be here to bring you the full readiness of all of the major updates surrounding Liberia and that of our global village. So many thanks to all of you who have been there watching along with us. Thanks to Nathaniel Zertiche. Great work. So Nathaniel, I want to say thank you. Please stay with us. Encourage other people to watch the Focal Online TV because we are the pride of District 13. We are one of the most independent media hub in Liberia. We do not own political allegiance to anybody. We are independent. We speak our mind very freely, void of sentiment, and we are here to always inform the Liberian people about the current situations, about the rousing developments in Liberia, and as well as the globe. So many thanks to all of you who have been watching along with me. This is the program. This is how we choose to call it a day on Focal Online TV. So I am very, very excited to end this broadcast on today. So thanks to all of you who have been there watching along with us. My name is K. Lyndon Toba, and this is how I choose to call it a day